When people think of starting a business, they usually imagine creating a $1 million app, inventing a groundbreaking product, or raising millions from investors. But here's the truth, that mindset keeps most people from ever starting. My first successful business is honestly kind of boring. It's not flashy, it's not sexy, but it works. And it gave me a first real step in entrepreneurship. In this video, I'll share how starting an unsexy business set me on the right path and why it might be the smartest move for you as well. The entrepreneurship culture loves the idea of breakthrough products. We are told we need to find the big idea, something unique and innovative that will make millions. And sure, those businesses exist, but here's the catch. They usually require huge capital, years of development, and an incredible amount of risk. As a teenager myself, I was hooked on this idea. From 18 onwards, I was searching for the perfect concept. But in reality, it just meant that I didn't start anything, and I spent years daydreaming, planning, and overthinking. I thought entrepreneurship had to be about the next Tesla or the next Facebook, but setting the bar that high meant that I was stuck at zero. By the time I turned 25, after many failed attempts, I finally asked myself, what if I just started with something simple? Instead of looking for the perfect idea, I just focused on what I was already good at. In his interview with Abdaal, Daniel Priestley shared a powerful exercise. Think back to your teenage years. What did you naturally enjoy? What did people praise you for? And what was the first project that you were very proud of? When I thought about it, the answer was quite clear. As a teenager, I loved organizing things, coordinating, planning, and bringing structure. This is what I was quite good at. A logical option for me seemed to be project management. And I also noticed that I was already kind of doing project management at my day job. Once I had recognized this natural strength, I built on it. I took courses in project management to refine my skill and become a certified project manager. This was an investment of time and effort into myself. Once I knew what I wanted to do, the next question was, who should I sell to? And what problem was I going to solve? One game-changing perspective was recognizing that it's easier to sell to businesses than to individuals, because businesses already have budgets set aside to solve problems. In other words, don't just focus on what you can do, focus on who actually values a skill and who can actually pay you for it. And as Alex Hormozy puts it quite bluntly, money comes from solving painful problems that people are desperate to fix. That's when it clicked for me. Instead of chasing consumer products or passive income, I'd sell services directly to companies because it's often easier to sell a $5,000 solution to a business than a $500 product to an individual. At this point, I'd consumed a ton of information, books, podcasts, videos, and that was all very important because I had to fill certain knowledge gaps. You have to have a strong foundation in understanding before you can truly execute. But here's where most people, myself included, typically go wrong: staying in this passive learning mode for too long. At some point, more knowledge doesn't help. You just end up stuck in analysis paralysis. What broke this cycle for me was reading the book $1 Million Weekend by Noah Kagan. The core message: stop waiting for the perfect plan and test small ideas immediately. Instead of dreaming up businesses in my head, I started asking myself, what real problem could I solve? And would someone actually pay me to solve this problem? That's when I finally moved from consuming to doing. I began running small experiments with simple ideas, a lunch delivery service, freelance desk research, things that actually solved problems for people, and testing whether they were actually willing to pay me to solve those issues. One of those experiments was offering services as a freelance project manager. It felt like quite a natural step. I liked organizing, I had some experience, and companies always need projects to be managed. But when I started talking to companies, I noticed something deeper. The real pain around project management wasn't managing projects per se. It was more that many companies lacked the structure to do so. They were growing, but everything behind the scenes was quite chaotic. There were no processes, no systems, no way to track what was happening, and that was a real bottleneck. So then we pivoted. Instead of just being a freelance project manager, my co-founder and I focused on helping companies build structure. We started implementing systems and processes and installing project management software for companies. We tested different approaches, different markets, different types of services. Over time, we found our niche, biotech companies. That's where my technical background gave me more credibility. Even though structure is universal, biotech founders trusted us because we understood their world. Bit by bit, the business took shape. We went from offering myself as a freelancer to helping companies build structure to defining a clear service, which was implementing systems and processes for scaling biotech companies. It wasn't sexy. We weren't inventing a product. We weren't in the headlines, but we were solving a real pain point that companies were very happy to pay for. And that's what makes a business sustainable. So here's what I learned from starting an unsexy business. Forget the $1 million idea. Your first business should be simple. Look at your strengths. Think back of what you enjoyed. That's usually where the clues are. Choose the right market. It's easier to sell to businesses than consumers, and perhaps choose a market where you have some experience or some credibility in. Validate your ideas quickly. Don't spend years planning. Ask people if they are willing to pay. Be willing to pivot. Your first idea won't necessarily be your last one. And finally, invest in yourself. Skills compound faster than money. That's a formula that I recommend to anyone starting out. So here's the bottom line. Your first business doesn't need to be glamorous. It doesn't need millions in funding. What it does need is action. Start small, start simple. Use your strength and solve a real problem for real people. That's how you get momentum. And once you have momentum, you can build anything from there. If you found this video useful, please consider subscribing for more content and hit the like button below. If you found this video useful, hit like and subscribe for more content about entrepreneurship and our journey. And you can comment below what's one unsexy business idea that you could start today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.